You've said that your edge is pattern recognition grounded in both economics and psychology. And the economics part, I love that as a former CFO. But how do all of those interact?
So it's a great question. So I think the whole sort of world economy in some sense, right, runs on very basic consumer decisions. People are in the grocery store, people are buying clothes, people are eating and drinking. And if you look around the world, maybe it's a little bit different in the US. On average, you would say a lot of the families and a lot of personal wealth that's held around the world is by people who sort of make consumer products, run supermarkets, own real estate and stuff like that. So it's just such a fundamental part of the economy. So it's almost like a little microcosm of how things work. And that's really what kind of drew me into it. And I think the economics are interesting because you're going into a decision environment like a supermarket and you're kind of making an implicit cost benefit trade-off when you're picking one brand over another or you're putting things into your basket. And then the psychology is really interesting. If I put up, in front of the Campbell's soup, limit 2 cans per customer, you're only going to buy one. And then you're like, oh my God, I better buy 2 because of anchoring. So because it's an environment, CJ, a lot of consumer environments, at least what you would call the low involvement ones, the low stake ones, you're kind of using heuristics like, let me buy what I bought last time unless there's a compelling reason not to. As you go up the chain into the so-called high involvement, I'm buying a car, then you really start to focus on the attributes. You read like consumer reports when it's a house. So as you go up the chain, it's a much more considered thing. But I'd say most of my academic and investing career, I've been further down, which is not to say these things are not important, but you're dealing with people making very quick decisions. And so you're interested in what are the underlying economics and psychology that's driving those.
I love that. And you have this, I would call it contrarian belief that the best ideas are hiding in this boring gray space. What would you say is an example of that in today's market?
Oh man, I think probably one of the best ones actually was discovered by my co-founder at Idea Farm, is a brand that a lot of people probably know. It's called Touchland, which is a hand sanitizer. It's like Purell. It has the functionality of Purell, but what it has on top of that is something I'm actually writing this new book about, or a part of it. So every product has like three levels of value that it delivers. So one is functional value. So here's a sanitizer. A, does it clean your hands? Yeah, B, also cleans your hands. They both have functional value. But what Touchland also has, it has emotional value. Like it makes you feel good. It looks cool. You take it out at lunch. Other people want to use it. And then on top of that, it also has symbolic value. So when you have it attached to your backpack, it's kind of saying something about you. And I think really clever consumer products hit all 3 of those triggers. And if you wind back to someone like Craig Dubitsky, who's a bit of a legend in the consumer space, who's now doing Happy Coffee with, I always forget the Iron Man guy, the famous actor. One of his early products, I think, was the EOS, which was lip balm turned into something that was round. Right. And it seems like almost a trivial innovation. But when you do these little things, because the decisions are made so quickly, sometimes they trigger. And then once they trigger and attach, then you can get these really outsized wins.
I love when somebody reinvents or relabels something. Like there's nothing more boring than a hand sanitizer, like water brands. There have been a number that have come out that have like a more of a cutting edge feel to them that makes it feel more like a Red Bull.
Another great example is a company that I didn't invest in. That again, it's always easy in hindsight to say, oh my gosh, why did I miss that? But one of the big brands that you probably saw, CJ, in the last week, I think was Grüns, right?
Oh yeah.
The vitamins, the gummy bears. And I could be totally off on this, but one reason why I think that thing works is you buy a big bag of Grüns, and then inside the bag are 28 little bags, each filled with like 7 little, green beards, right? And for me, at least, like, why do I like that? Because if I travel and you're telling me I have to take a jar of gummies, it's kind of a pain. How do I squeeze it into my suitcase? If I've got one of those stupid Monday through Sunday flip up plastics and I'm dropping in all my, that's also kind of a pain. But if I'm gone for 5 days, I take 5 little bags. It's easy. So, I mean, I'm sure there's many other things they did too. I think it's also probably a pretty good product. But I think sometimes those like simple innovations can really tip consumers in your favor.
I'm packing for a family vacation tomorrow, and I don't want to take a 2-pound jug of whey protein. So I bought TB12, Tom Brady's protein company. They have vacation packets of 20 grams of protein. It's like, okay, well, I can actually bring this with me. But it's like the same core thing, just repackaged in a different way.
I love this, right? Because a lot of what you're doing when people have success in these areas is you're sort of removing what seems to be a trivial barrier, but it's actually not. And I forget what all the letters stand for, but when I used to teach, there was something called the Accord framework. And this would, like, if you hit all the letters, you had a bigger chance of success. So the first thing's obvious, like, you have to make the thing available. And one of the C's was, is it competitively better? But to your last point, the D of the Accord model was divisibility. Like, can I use it in the unit that's actually appropriate for me? And you're telling me, I don't want to carry the big bag of TB12, but if you give me little mini packs. And so that's checked off the divisibility thing. So again, it's just removing another variant that might prevent you from using it.
Same thing with something like a chapstick. You don't want to carry around like a big thing of petroleum jelly. That would look kind of weird. Scaling a tech company is thrilling. It's also really, really messy. Just ask anyone who's done it, or anyone who's tried. Better yet, ask EY. They've seen startups at their best, and in their most fragile moments. EY knows you don't start a company to burn cycles on regulatory hoops, discounted cash flows, or the fine print of SEC Form S1. Although you probably do know I love myself a good S1 if you've listened to or read my stuff long enough. You can't ignore these things. That's how risk compounds. Kind of like negative interest. What you can do is work with EY from day one. They'll help you get it right early and often, so you can stay in builder mode and keep the trains running on time. EY, shape the future with confidence. Learn more at ey.com/techstartups. That is ey.com/techstartups.